Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. At the club, Nikki and Jack spot each other. She notes he hasn't called. He says, "Ringer on my phone works." She smiles, "Touche." Nikki says she feels strong, and Jack hopes her new sponsor is giving her the support she needs. Nikki admits she hasn't replaced him yet. Her outpatient treatment is serving her right now. She announces she's ready to go back to Newman Media. Jack feels that's empowering. Nikki complains that Victor's fighting her on it. It's infuriating and exhausting. Jack hopes he'll come around soon. Nikki hopes things have calmed down between him and Diane. Jack confides that Diane was furious about what happened that night. Nikki figures she's the reason he decided not to continue as her sponsor. She can't hold it against her. Jack swears they've moved past that conflict, but there's another one. He tells her about Diane and Kyle's troubles, which are tearing him apart. Nikki urges him to tell her about it. He can lean on her as she did on him. Jack explains that Kyle was telling the whole world he was better at Diane's job than she was, and she didn't take it well. Jack says he's overreached and Diane felt she had no choice but to fire him. Nikki gawps, "My God." Jack wishes he'd intervened. Maybe he could have stopped things from going this far. Nikki's surprised to hear Kyle may have already found a new job, but he won't say where. At Crimson Lights, Michael treats Diane to a chai latte. She was happy to get his call as she needed someone to vent to today. "I fired Kyle from Jabot this morning." Michael's surprised. That couldn't have been easy. Diane admits Jack was not pleased, but she had no choice as Kyle was determined to prove he's better at her job than she is. Michael thinks it will be good for him to reflect, but Diane thinks he's already landed another job. It almost sounds like he welcomed being cut loose. Michael muses that the timing is interesting. He has a sneaking suspicion that Kyle's new job can be traced right back to Victor. Diane gawps, "You think Kyle is going to work for Victor Newman?" Michael thinks there's a connection. After Victor fired him, his loyalty test was to rekindle his friendship with her. Diane asks how that benefits Victor. Michael doesn't know. She fumes that Michael's pretending to be her friend while pumping her for information for Victor. Michael wouldn't tell her this if he didn't think of her as a true friend. He'd never help his boss plan an attack on her. "I don't think you're the target." Diane snaps that Victor clearly has an agenda. Michael confides that he also asked Cole to cozy up to Kyle. Why would he do that? He muses, "What's the common denominator between you and Kyle?" Diane gawps, "Of course, Jack." Diane says Victor's hatred of Jack is epic. Is this really war again? Michael thinks the piece was tenuous at best. He can't stop spinning scenarios in his head, and none of them are good. Diane knows Victor was furious over Jack popping pills with Nikki. He made a big point of sitting her down and telling her how it was a betrayal. At the tack house, Victoria compliments Cole's tea making. He says he could teach her, but she prefers him serving her. Claire says they're adorable. Cole wants to have a family dinner, but Claire says they'll have to go without her. "I have other plans." Victoria's happy she's making friends and asks if she's meeting Mariah. Victoria's face falls when she says her plans are with Kyle. She asks if this is a date, and Cole complains he hasn't even had a drink with this young man yet. Claire says it's not a date. She overheard a heated conversation between Kyle and Summer earlier, and he wanted to talk to her about it. Victoria doesn't think she should get in the middle of it. Claire isn't worried. She gets up and says, "You two have a lovely dinner without me," as she leaves. Cole guesses Victoria is worried. She says, "Oh, absolutely." In the park, Kyle and Audra tell Victor that they've smoothed out their differences and are happy to be working together. Victor thought they would get there and is happy to hear Kyle's out of Jabot completely. Audra wants to put out a press releases about Glissade's new team, and Victor tells them to keep his name out of it. The mystery investor will remain a mystery. Kyle asks why he wants to remain anonymous. He doesn't understand the secrecy. Victor just wants Glissade to succeed on its own merits, and yours. Kyle's having trouble believing this is a selfless gesture. Victor respects Kyle's skepticism, which is indicative of an active mind, but he wants him to redirect his mind to Glissade. With that, he walks off. Audra warns Kyle not to disrespect the person who signs his paycheck.